there are some things that need to be prayed about as far as what you can do, and I may, get, a little slap on the wrist for this, but I do not agree with putting people at risk in the name of faith.
And I agree with you. So let's both get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, it's just not okay. It does not mean that I don't trust the Lord. It does not mean that he doesn't have this under control. It doesn't mean that at the end we will see what this was about, and right, that we'll be better because of it. Because the truth is the Lord isn't looking for the normal. He wants us to change because of this. And so the buildings and, all of the things that we held dear, even beyond church, all of the things that we felt like we couldn't live without, all of the things that we were, so endeared to, all of the things that we were looking forward to other than God. We don't have those anymore. We don't have those.
That's rich.
And at this point, we have to take a step back. I told my husband this when we were just conversing, having some moments together, some quiet time. I was like, we really need to figure out what life is going to be like after this, because people aren't going to rush back into crowded spaces, conferences, all of these things, because if somebody coughs, you're going to be like, is that Corona? Literally, people don't even say bless you anymore. They're looking at you sideways like, now, was that a Corona cough, a Corona sneeze? What is that? It's not the same. And the truth of the matter is that, yes, God has it under control. Get the message, take some time to sit back and see what he's saying. But he's not saying go back to normal. I do know that.
Well, you know what? I first, let me say, I totally agree with that. And to me, it's a form of radical selfishness to put people's lives in jeopardy. And I guess, John, it makes me want to ask you, why do you think there are pastors, there's still pastors and religious leaders who insist upon defying this order for us to quarantine and not gather in large spaces? What is it? And I'm asking you to explain what may be unexplainable, so I understand that. But what is that?
Let me say this. I want to be wise in what I say, because I can't know the mind of every individual that chooses to go opposite of the prescribed scientific and governmental orders. Because the first thing is Romans chapter 13 tells those of us who are believers that we are to honor the authority that's over us, to respect the governing authorities. And so to say that God told you to have a service when the word is the final authority on how we should govern ourselves means that one of us is wrong and it's not the word. So I'm not naming an individual, but I will say that as a pastor, I was attacked when we closed our doors before they made it mandatory. And I was told that I don't have faith. But let me tell you something, when you're a less than 2-year-old church and you close your doors, it takes more faith for you to believe God that he'll provide than it does to leave the doors open and put people at risk.
I agree with that.
Somebody dying for you to come to a service that you can still receive online is for me, it's untenable. I believe that there are individuals who think that they are showing or proving that, they're bigger than the moment. I would only take them to Exodus 12, where God says, if I see the blood on the door, I'm going to pass by. If I don't, the first thing in there, the firstborn is going to die. And that wasn't about a believer or a non-believer. It would just happen to be if you got the blood on the door. It had nothing to do with if you had faith.
Right.
That's what it was. And so
these are the rules. Follow the rules. Follow the rules.
And so for me, it was about honoring the set-in authority. That's number one, but also not putting people in undue risk. So I'm treading a fine line, Dr. Sean, as you can see, out of respect, because I don't want to put words or intentions in the hearts or mouths of people that I don't know. I can only speak for me in saying that it is absolutely clear to me that everything we were doing up till now wasn't working. Because if it was, then I don't believe that. If I believe in God, I believe that he's in charge. He was the one that closed the doors of the buildings, because the buildings were never anything that Jesus died for. Jesus didn't die for no building, no steeple, no cross. He died for souls. And the last thing he said in Matthew 28 was go to the people, make disciples. That means build relationships. He didn't say build big buildings and wait for them to show up. We became a club. We got velvet ropes, VIP sections. We look at you different if you got on the wrong thing, fishnet stockings. Well, where were you before the blood found you? You used to be nasty. You still nasty. We just don't know it yet. So stop judging people with your stinking self.
Oh God. Come on back, sir.
People kill me with this idea that somehow you're better than a person that hasn't come into the understanding of God's love. The closer you get to God, the more humble you become. It's not the other way around.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, I'll be quiet.
No. It's first, let me say this. I have a much harsher rendering than either of you. Because I think you got to be out of your damn mind to be holding church in the middle of a pandemic. You just got to be completely out of your mind. So that's me. You didn't say it, I did, and I'll take it because you're crazy. How about that?